Perceptions of time are interesting. Does the past exist? Does the future exist? Imagine if you lived in a world where there was no day or night, no star movement reference, no seasonal markers. All we would have is cause and effect to extrapolate the idea of time. With day and night, seasonal changes, star movements, we have strong indicators of before and after. We know there's history because we know the present passes. But after our perceptive apparatus goes extinct, does our history continue to exist? What is left after everything that was ever changed by life is worn down by planetary processes? No matter what, the physical environment has been changed by life. As long as there is a universe, that change is recorded in the universe's physical reality. As far as we know, that's all we can be sure of. Although we'd like to believe that the things that we've done in the past somehow added to an information field. Maybe our identities reside there, and we're connected to our bodies. And when the body disintegrates, our identities will retain the knowledge earned through existence. If that's the case, then the physical fingerprint we leave behind is nothing. The present has to be the foundation for existence. The past gives us perceivable and measurable clues about how to plan the present and the future. We can plan the present to achieve the past we want, but once something has happened, all we can do is promote it or prevent it from happening again. The future is fascinating to me. I don't think it exists absolutely. I just think physical processes and laws, for all intents and purposes, with a very high probability will continue on tomorrow. It's very likely that I'll wake up tomorrow and there will be a sun, there will be a moon. There's higher variability when we talk about weather patterns. We can see mathematically how the future, for all intents and purposes, will likely be. Just because we can't know everything doesn't mean we can't know anything. I do at the moment think the future is only potential. In this video, I'll go over the ontological status of potential, types of existence, eternalism, presentism, and growing block theory. Let's talk about potential for a second. Is potential considered existent? The existence of potential is a bit of a philosophical gray area. It depends on how you define existence. Here's how to think about it. Thinking about it literally. In the physical sense, potential doesn't exist. You can't hold it, weigh it, or interact with it directly. It's not a physical thing. Thinking about it as a capability. Potential can represent a capability or a possibility. Think of a seed. The seed isn't a flower, but it has the potential to become one under the right conditions. In that sense, the potential for the flower exists within the seed. This is how I refer to the future existing. It exists as potential because we know how physical laws and contingency play out. Our physical reality, the past and the present, are the seed, and the flower is the future. Perceiving potential scientifically. Certain scientific concepts like potential energy are useful because they describe the capability to do work. For example, a rock held high has the potential energy to fall and cause damage. The energy isn't real until the rock falls, but the potential for energy exists. So the answer to the question, does potential exist, depends on your perspective and how you define existence. If existence requires physical presence, then potential doesn't exist. If existence can include capabilities and possibilities, then potential exists as a concept or property of something. Ultimately, whether you consider potential to be truly existent or not is a matter of your own definition and interpretation of existence. It will also decide whether you are a presentist or an eternalist. What are the types of existence? Here's a breakdown of some common classifications. Modality of existence. Possible versus actual. Possible existence refers to things that could exist but don't necessarily. Imagine a unicorn. The concept is coherent, but there's no evidence of actual unicorns. Actual existence. Actual existence refers to things that demonstrably exist, like trees or planets. Contingent versus necessary. Contingent existence means something that exists but could not have existed. Most things in our world are contingent. Necessary existence refers to something that must exist by definition, like mathematical concepts. Some believe fundamental physical laws or God might fall under this category. Location of existence. Concrete versus abstract. Concrete entities exist in physical reality and take up space, like a chair or a mountain. Abstract entities are ideas or concepts that don't have a physical form, like numbers or justice. Physical versus mental. Physical existence refers to things in the material world that can be interacted with by our senses. Mental existence refers to the contents of our minds, like thoughts and emotions. Degrees of existence. Some philosophers debate the idea idea of degrees of existence. For instance, does a fictional character like Hamlet exist to a lesser degree than a real person? Understanding eternalism, presentism, and growing block theory. According to eternalism, all points in time, past, present, and future, are equally real. This contrasts with presentism and the growing block theory. There are two main flavors of eternalism. A theory, also known as the moving spotlight theory. Similar to presentism, A theory eternalists agree that all time exists, but the present moment holds a special place. It's like the spotlight theory, but instead of the spotlight moving, the past and the future fade slightly. B theory, block universe. This is like the giant map idea. B theory eternalists argue that all moments exist equally, there's no special now, and the flow of time is an illusion. B theory to me fits simulation theory too. Imagine if you were an advanced alien who had created a physical reality like ours for your entertainment, and you could make changes in the past to see developments in the future. Say you start with a game that has no technological development by the agents in the future because there's no fossil fuels. So you go back to the past of the timeline and you create conditions for fossil fuels to emerge in the future. Simultaneously, a civilization emerges in the future. This is kind of how I think about B theory. Presentism. In presentism, only the present moment is real. The past and the future are not real in the same way. Think of it like a spotlight moving across the map of time, only illuminating the current moment. Presentism aligns with the common sense notion of time as something that flows or progresses. The present moment is constantly changing as future moments become present and then pass into the past. Growing block theory. The growing block theory of time, also known as the growing block view, is a theory of time that offers middle ground between the other prominent views of eternalism and presentism. Here's a breakdown of the idea. The growing block theory proposes that past and present moments are real and objectively exist. Everything that has happened is settled and fixed, just like the rings of a tree trunk recording its growth. The present moment is also acknowledged as a real, objective part of reality. The future doesn't exist yet. This is the key distinction from eternalism. The growing block theory argues that the future is not yet real. It's open and undetermined. Think of it like a blank canvas waiting to be painted on. The block keeps growing. As time progresses, the present moment constantly moves forward, adding a new slice of reality to the block of the past. It's like adding a new block to a constantly growing stack. Implications of eternalism. Determinism. If all moments in time are equally real, this suggests a deterministic universe where the future is as fixed and unchangeable as the past. This raises questions about free will and the nature of human agency. Perception of time. Eternalism challenges our everyday experience of time as flowing from the past to the future. Our perception of a present moment moving forward is seen as a subjective feature of human consciousness rather than an objective property of the universe. Criticisms and challenges. Experience of time. One of the main criticisms of eternalism is that it contradicts our intuitive experience of time. We perceive time as flowing and we feel that the present moment is special and unique. Free will. Eternalism raises challenging questions about free will and moral responsibility. If the future is already real and determined, it's difficult to reconcile this with the notion that individuals have freedom to choose their own actions. Ontological status of temporal objects. Debates continue over the ontological status of objects and events in different times. Some argue that eternalism implies a static view of the universe, while others contend that it offers a more comprehensive understanding of temporal existence. If we're going to insist existence requires physical reality in the moment, then I have to say presentism is true. If we're going to give ontological status to potential, including duration and change as existent, I might be inclined to say only the present and the future exist. History exists as the present. It took billions of years for the universe to become what it is, but those billions of years exist as realized potential in the present. They also condition the way things can possibly happen in the present, meaning their chains of contingency still carry out their potential. Maybe I'm the first guy to say the present and the future exist. Let's call it potential and change theory of time. But if we disallow potential as existent, then I'm a presentist, but with a strong caveat that the contingencies of history are playing out and conditioning the deterministic value of the present. History's ghost is alive and well. The same can be said about planning. The future can play a role in the present through planning, but history has a far more deterministic role in the present than any kind of backwards causation from planning. If you like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us grow the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.